for coming here to celebrate Helen Byers. We're now going to start the beginning of our program, and it's going to be a really nice one. I just have a few things to offer. There's food at the back, tea and coffee at the front, and today Helen's sister is battling cancer, and one of the things we want to do is raise some money for cancer. So $1 off of every drink, the retired, what's the name of it?
The Retired Fashion.
The Retired Fashion is going toward cancer research here today. So if you're going to have a drink, consider the Retired Fashion in support of Helen and the Canadian Cancer Research. Right now, it might be very difficult to see this, but my daughter Victoria made a video for Helen. And Helen is like a grandmother to her, very close. And if you could just draw yourself to this screen and watch the video. If you can't see it, we'll show it to you on the computer. Pardon me? What's working it? No, it just shut up. Okay, well, we're going to continue to try and work through that, and what I'd like to do right now, Helen first started in politics many years ago in the Reform Party, but when we were right on the cusp of becoming a federal government, Helen put her efforts into supporting a very young man who's had a very long and talented career, and we're very pleased today to have our former MP for Nepean and our current MP for Carleton, Pierre Poilievre, here to say a few words.
Thank you very much. So, you know, when I first ran for office back in 2004, we had an office in the Manotick Mews. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
And Helen was, how many people were there at the time? A lot of people there at that time. And Helen Byers was actually our director of first impressions. She would be the very first person to greet newcomers to the office. They would walk in the door and she would be waiting for them at a desk that was placed strategically right at the entrance point, and she was the first experience that they would have when they entered the Conservative campaign in our riding of Nepean-Carleton. And every day we would call her at 4 o'clock after we'd been on the doorsteps all day long, and Helen would have something called the Good News Report. Do you remember the Good News Report? And she had nothing but happy things to say about what was happening. We said sometimes there weren't as many happy things happening on the doorstep. And so we always called her for some relief from the battle, and she always lifted our spirits so that we could fight 4 more hours through to 9 o'clock and into the end of the campaign. And I believe that one of the reasons why our campaign office was such a hive of activity was that people loved being around Helen. She just warmed the souls of every single person who came in. And I remember my weight had dropped down to 140 pounds. And so she used to force me to drink a gigantic chocolate milkshake every single day to fatten me up for the hill. And so she kept me going. And it was at that time that she met Lisa, actually, who had joined the campaign and was working full time, and they became best of friends. And of course, when Lisa was elected about a year and a half later, she made a smart decision, probably the best decision anyone could make, and that is to have a good director of first impressions in your constituency office. I just want to conclude by saying this. A lot of times the politicians give big speeches, they talk for too long, as I am now. They introduce bills in the House of Commons or the legislature or bylaws at City Hall, and that gets a lot of attention, but the work that actually has a practical impact on the daily lives of everyday people happens in constituency offices. That's when someone calls because they desperately need a birth certificate that was lost. They need help connecting with a local hospital where an administrative glitch has prevented them from getting care. They need help connecting with a vital government service that they've been deprived of, or to remove a red tape from out of the way so they can go ahead and start their business. These things actually have practical implications in people's lives, and for about a decade now, Helen has been delivering those services in a manner that is second to none, and there are countless stories right across Nepean and Carleton of people whose lives have been vastly improved as a result of her direct intervention and the countless hours and the selfless sacrifice that she has made to provide those services. So here I am to thank you for all of that.
Thank you very much, Pierre, and I know everyone in this room wants to continue to support Pierre as he moves for his 6th election after 2019. Helen hasn't just worked for myself or for Pierre Poilievre. She also worked for an upstart politician. And, he took the city by storm. His motto was "Zero means zero." And he showed a couple more seasoned politicians how it was really done, because he ran a grassroots style campaign, a conservative campaign for Mayor of Ottawa. And with that, I'd like to invite my friend Larry O'Brien up to say a few words for his friend Helen Byers. Jim Watson's going to be here in a few minutes now.
Thank you, Lisa. And you're right. Helen had already worked for Pierre and for you, Lisa, before she came to our office to make a magnificent difference in the way that we move forward in that 2006 campaign. The 2006 campaign, can you hear me now? I'm not used to this anymore. This is crazy. The 2006 campaign started 10 years ago this week. And you were instrumental, but she didn't have the job of being the director of first impressions, because by that time she had moved all the way up to managing how everything happened in the office. And one day about a week or two into it, she came to me and she said, I think she might have even come to Colleen and I, and said, "This office is full of spies. We have spies from both the Shirelles. We have spies." She just went on and on and on. And she said, "What do you think we should do?" And I said, "Get rid of them." And then she said to me, "Well, if we get rid of them, we'll only have me here." So we went through that and we straightened it out, and thanks to your help and the help of many others, we were able to run a wonderful campaign. And when we heard this was happening here today for you, we both, Colleen and I, said we got to be there to thank you, and thank you very much for everything you've done for me and for the city.
Thank you, Larry, and it's really wonderful to see you and your lovely wife, Colleen. Helen isn't just a big booster of politicians like myself or Pierre or Larry. This past year, we had a couple of Olympians from Nepean go all the way to Rio. And one of those outstanding Olympians that we have, athletes right here from Manordale and Nepean, is Sekou Kaba. And Sekou wanted to be here today to say thanks to Helen for all the support she's given him.
Hello everyone, glad to see you all here today. Happy faces for a wonderful lady. So thanks again for having me, Helen. I don't have a long history with Helen like most of you guys do, but I feel like I've known her for quite a long time. She feels like a grandmother. So loving and caring. And every time I stop by Lisa's office, it's this great lady walking towards me. It's like she drops everything. "Hey, say if you want some water, do you want this, you want that?" I was like, "No, Helen, I'm okay, please sit down." Like, clearly I'm active, I can do this all by myself, but she's just such a kind lady, and I truly appreciate your support as I made my journey towards Rio. It was a wonderful experience. I was thinking about you guys the entire way, and it definitely helped get me to the state of mind I needed to be to compete. So thanks again. And this is for Helen. Before I leave, I'd like to leave all of you with something awesome that I just read. Someone put an awesome perspective on, I guess, longevity and age and doing something for so long. And I was just informed, Helen, I don't usually like to throw out numbers, but I was just told how long you lived. No. Wait for it. It's a great thing, Helen, because what I just read, this person just put it all in perspective. They say that we often look at age as a bad thing. Not necessarily a bad thing, but oh, they've lived for so long. But this person said the older, we should start looking at age as reaching a higher level.
Right.
Instead of saying, oh, she's aged, we can say Helen has reached a very high level of life. And so I'd like to congratulate you on reaching the highest level of life and the best of all time in your retirement. All right? Thanks, Helen.
Well, I was thinking right there, it's a good thing he's an Olympic hurdler because he got through that story and brought it right back to where it needed to be. You might have a career in politics one of these days, Sekou. Look, there's only a couple more speeches and a couple little things else that I want to do, but I wanted to bring up right now a member of Helen's family, her son John. We were going to ask Fred, but he would start making blonde jokes, and I know him so well, it's not even funny. I love you so much, Fred. It's not even funny, but he always, you have to know this because every single person in the office has blonde hair except for me. So Fred tells these jokes all the time and I get a good kick out of it. But you know what? It's been always fun to have John Byers as Helen's son as a police officer. And whenever something sort of happens, which it tends to once a year with me, we can always call John to find out what I have to do. So John is going to speak on behalf of the Byers family. Come on up, John.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And first off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here today to honor my mom. And I guess if I could encapsulate my mom in one word, it would be dedication. And when I say that, she's dedicated both to family and to community, and she's put 30 years in the federal government with Agriculture Canada, and then went on to work with Lisa.
It's only 30 years to work.
Yeah, I say it like it's a prison sentence. 2 years less a day, Mom. You're getting out. Don't worry about that. But you know, my mom, to her, community and family is so drastically important, and you know, just dedicating her life to it, and that's why we're all here today, to honor her. So I'd like to say, Mom, thank you so much for everything you've done for our family and for our community, and we all love you for it. So thank you very much, and thanks everybody again for coming. Enjoy your day.
Thank you so much, John. That was amazing. I'm going to actually call up a surprise person that I want to bring up. I've got two more speakers before we do the next thing. I'd like to bring up Richard Frum, who is our riding president for the Nepean Carleton Progressive Conservative Association. He has a few words to say on your behalf. Get that beer down there, Richard, and courage.
Thanks, Lisa. What a very beautiful day we have for this event, eh? It's just absolutely gorgeous. I just wanted to say on behalf of the association to this very special lady, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you as well, because Helen, you are retiring from working with Lisa, but you're not retiring from working with me. You know, and I'm actually, it's kind of a mixed feeling, because I'm actually kind of thrilled that I'm going to have more time for you now. You know, we have so much work to do with the new association and everything, but you know, just a little story. You know, Helen is one of the most dedicated people that I know. I remember Joe and I, during the last campaign, we'd be in the morning, we'd come in and there's Helen. And we come in the afternoon, come in again, there's Helen. And then in the evening, late in, and there's Helen. I was like, Helen, you need to go home. You need to rest, Helen. No, but you know, on that point, Also during the last campaign, I should let you know that there was a time when we had a financial agent, and then we lost our financial agent for I don't know why she left anyway, but anyway, so it was myself and Al Prue ended up being the financial agents. And if it wasn't for this lady, we would have been in real trouble. So yeah, her records were just immaculate, and she kept us going, and she's a real saint. So for the special lady, I say thank you on behalf of the current association, and for the new association. It's actually October the 1st is a refounding meeting. I'm saying we got lots to do. Thank you.
Thanks so very much, Richard. And Helen will remain as our vice president of our association. We really appreciate that. You know what? There's some really wonderful people that have worked with Helen and myself over the past number of years. And Kayla's come back for a second tour of duty. So what I thought is we could have Kayla come up on behalf of all of the staff over the years and provide a few remarks.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, Helen, the stories we could tell, eh? Helen and I have worked together now for more years than I can even remember. And we've been through good times, bad times, stressful times, and amazing times together, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Helen is an awesome constituency worker, as you all know. But my favorite thing about Helen was she's so sweet and kind on the phone. And sometimes, back especially in the Lowell Green days, we would get some people that would call us under his encouragement. They'd be very, very angry. And I remember at the time it was Alicia and I in the office with Helen. And, well, we would put Helen on the phone with them because who's going to yell at Helen? They had no problem yelling at us, but they shut right down when they spoke with Helen. And she was so good at that. And so on behalf of Alicia, who wanted to be here today, but she had the army run, and Jad and Megan, and I know Kim's here, and Daryl wanted to be here, and Wendy's here, Julia came all the way down from Toronto, and Val, and everyone else. We just want to say thanks for everything, Helen. You've been an amazing person to work with. We could probably fill a book with all the things we've done together. Doug Ford beat me to the punch that week, though, so I had to figure something out. But thanks. It's been amazing, and I'm going to miss you in the office. But I'm on the association with you, so we're not done yet. Love you.
Well, thanks, Kayla. I guess I sort of built this around me having the last word in case somebody said something mean about me.
Never.
See, Tim Hudak did that, right? We did this on May 10th. We did. We had my 10-year anniversary in Toronto, and Tim Hudak did a roast. But he wasn't thinking, I guess, at the time that there would be tributes to him just last Thursday in the legislature. So I got to roast him back. So mine's on the official record. But it's a very emotional week for me, having lost two of the staples of my political career. First, Tim Hudak, who is a very close friend of mine, decided he was going to retire from politics and get a new job. And then Helen Byers. And you know something? Helen was with me before I was even a nominated candidate, before I was even elected, before I was somebody that is known in the city as their MPP. So Helen Byers to me is very special. I always call her my Nepean mom because Helen knows when I need love. And she knew before everybody else some of the challenges that I had faced, and she would sit with me, hold my hand, hug me, kiss me. Sometimes she might even utter a swear word at somebody who might have been trying to hurt me. And that type of, and that's not typical of Helen, but when it comes out, it was there. And so, you know, whether it's going through parades or working in the office or doing anything at the at the campaign, that all pales in comparison to the love and the friendship and the support you have given me and Joe and Victoria personally. That pales in comparison. You have been there for me. You come to my Pampered Chef parties. Any harebrained idea I have, you are there to support it. I'm sure just to say, let's give her some rope and see how far she goes. But you know, some of my best memories really aren't winning an election. some of my best memories aren't about a bill being passed at the legislature. Some of my best memories are watching my daughter over the past 10 years or 11 years grow up and run to Helen's office and draw her pictures and talk to her and worry about Helen, and she loves you so much, as you know. It just really says that this woman is a part of my family, and I know that's not going to end because she's retired. She'll still be on the board, that's for sure, but I think our friendship will always be there. And since she's retired, Fred comes into the office every once in a while, and he tells me jokes, and he tries to get me to go to the movies with him. So anybody that knows Fred knows he is a movie aficionado. He loves movies, and he goes every Tuesday night and he tells me what to go watch, what I can bring Victoria to, and what I'm not supposed to. So I know that Helen will have a lot of fun with Fred going to the movies and all of that. But so, you know, Helen, I love you, and I know Joe and Victoria feel the same way I do. And if we may say thank you to your family, because the 10 years that you have given me, the Nepean Carleton Progressive Conservative Association, and more importantly to the people of this constituency in Nepean Carleton, has meant a great deal to all of us. And it is because of your family that have dropped you off and picked you up and wondered where the heck you were. We couldn't have done it without them, and I'm very lucky that Diane and John are like siblings to me. And I watched Sam grow up into a wonderful young woman, and I'm watching Sean. I wish he was here today. We have lovely photos of him. He's just such a beautiful little boy, your grandson. So on behalf of everybody here, we love you. We're so proud of you, and we're glad that you decided to get out of retirement the first time to come back to work with me. So on behalf of everybody here, I want to say thank you, and I have another surprise for you. So our dear friend Steph Gaucher is going to come up and sing your favorite song.
Does this mean I have the last word?
No. Nice try.
So, unlike Sekou, I don't think you're old at all. I just think you've been young longer than I have. So they say that a woman's beauty comes from her heart, and Helen, I think you're one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. So this song's for you. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time, and time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? Need your love. I need your love. Godspeed your love to me. Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the sea, to the open arms of the sea. Yeah. Lonely rivers cry, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time, and time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. Godspeed your love.
to me. Yeah, someone has to have the last word.
I always get the last word. You guys all know that. I'd like to invite Helen up right now. As many of you know, I've been elected for 10 years, but I've gone through 5 different leaders of the official opposition. I don't know if it was something I said or did. Anyway, but I do have some certificates here, Helen, from all of my former leaders. So why don't you come on up as I present. Oh, actually, John Torres hasn't arrived yet, yes. But we do have certificates here, and I'll just read one, and it's from our current leader, Patrick Brown. On behalf of my colleagues in the Ontario PC Caucus, it gives me great pleasure to congratulate you on the retirement after 10 years of dedication and service to the people of Nepean Carleton. Best wishes on a long and joyous retirement, and thanks again for all your hard work, Patrick Brown. So you've got one from Patrick. You've got 2 from Tim Hudak. He doubly loved you. Actually, one is a letter, and for anybody that knows Tim Hudak, he was very good at sending personalized letters to our staff when they were finished. I've got one here from Jim Wilson, and one here from Bob Runciman. Everyone here loves Bob Runciman, I know that, eh? Yeah, and then there's one here from me. But I love you, so you don't even. Now the question is, should we hear from Helen?
Yeah. Yes.
You get the last word, Helen.
I had a speech prepared by Fred, and Fred, guess what? I lost it somewhere. All I can say is thank you so much. I am so amazed. I didn't sleep last night thinking there wouldn't be anybody here. I am so amazed. It's been wonderful. You know, I've met so many people throughout the years in all different facets of the political scenario, and I've enjoyed so much of it and met so many people and was glad to help a lot of people. I wish I could do more. But anyways, thank you all for coming. And Victoria, thank you, dear, so much. You've been a real pleasure for me. Like, I enjoyed being with Victoria so much, and she was a real highlight when she would come into the office, and we'd have a little chat. Hey, Victoria? Welcome, dear, and thank you. So once again, thank you all so much. I really do appreciate this. It's brought me to tears, and Vance coming in and piping me in like, hey, so many times I called Vance saying, Vance, you've got to help me. I said, and then for Vance to be here today, that was so fantastic. And once again, thank you all so very much. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.